What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for today, Thursday, June 22nd of 2023. Appreciate you all joining me in this moment to go over these astrological transits that are happening on this day, on Thursday. All right, guys, so let's hop right on into it. 8:29 when I'm making this. It's okay. I'm still getting it out, right? So, all right, guys. So let's go ahead and get it started. Well, the solstice is yesterday. So, boom, the sun has entered into Cancer season. We are in Cancer season now. We are officially in the summer cardinal water, right? All right. So, you know, this is definitely going to be a Cancer season to remember. Why? Well, because that sun is also going to be opposing Pluto later on. Of course, that's at the end of it and stuff. But we'll get to that energy a little bit later. Of course, as the sun continues to move, it'll sextile all of this energy here that's in Taurus, which would be nice. But at the same time, this is about you know being taking this is about having emotional intelligence. I would say like this whole Cancer season is emotional intelligence because the fact of the matter is that we can use our emotions to really guide us in a way, but we also know that, I mean, I mean, if you're a human, if you're watching this, you know that your emotions have probably taken you down some weird alleyways, maybe some different impulses that came up, or shoot, emotions can be intense. You know what I mean? So emotions can cause many disruptions in our life, but that's just the human experience, right? Of course, this is since it is the first water sign too, so it's actually a very magical sign. I like to call cancers the werewolves of the zodiac, right? So it's funny too how the transformation really only happens during that full moon and stuff like that, but they are like the werewolves of the zodiac. So there's definitely going to be this element where we want to just be very intelligent with our emotions and actually use them to as the signal that they are, because it is a tool. It's a signal to where you are, where you are vibrating, where's your frequency. Super important to take all of this into consideration, right? The reason being too, if you think about it, with the sun being in Cancer, right, that just means that Aquarius is the eighth house to the sun right now. So when we get over to this Aquarius energy and it being the eighth house now, we don't have anything there. Pluto was there, but it retrograded back. Saturn had been there for several years. Now it's in Pisces. And Saturn will come all the way back to 0 degrees of Pisces and it's retrograde, but it is fully in Pisces now. So there's definitely this element where we feel like we want to transform the world right now, being that it's the eighth house. And it's also a very collective energy in our investments too. So it's funny how I'm talking about this, even though there's like no energy here in Aquarius, but I want to just kind of I want to kind of drive this point home that the sun had been opposing Pluto and Capricorn for what, like 15 years or something like that. So it's been a while. And just when we thought that we're going to get this sort of reprieve, we got to go through this one more time, right? So there's definitely this element where some of us can feel like something might be missing, because we know we could just feel that this new world, this new age of Aquarius was really upon us. And it is upon us because we are in the age of Aquarius. I believe we are already in the age of Aquarius. The thing is that it's just not showing up as fast as we want. So definitely there can be this sort of element throughout all of Cancer season where we can feel a little bit off. And if we feed too much into those emotions and allow them to kind of whisk us away, then there's a potential that we may direct our lives unknowingly, unbeknownst to us, into some very weird and auspicious places, right? Because there's nothing here. But the fact of the matter is that there's not so much as there's nothing there. It's the fact that we just aren't ready yet to move fully into that new world. So, if there's one thing that I could tell you guys for this whole Cancer season, is that if things kind of feel off, if this summer just feels off, like if it doesn't feel like hot girl, hot boy summer and whatever like that, then, you know, actually embrace that. I think it's going to be through embracing that's how we're going to get through this Cancer season, because we all definitely can feel like this new world is on the precipice and that it's here. And it is here. We just have it in our mind that it has to look a certain way, and that we have all of these, I think it's because we're taking all of these sort of like old world desires with us into the new world. Every single one of us, even if you are like really on your path, we're all on our path. But even if you're really on your path, that you're a light worker and all that sort of stuff, and blah blah blah. Of course, there are light workers out there that don't even know that they're light workers, and they're just doing work for the light. They're working with the light. There's a lot of those. Actually, I would say actually majority of the light workers probably out there probably don't even know that they're light workers, right? So what's great about this is that a lot of people are going to come into that realization over the next several years once Pluto moves fully into Aquarius. But this Cancer season is definitely going to be one to be like, all right, I'm having this emotional response. What is it telling me? Okay. And how can I be intelligent with this? Because the things that I invest in, the Aquarius energy, right? It's really going to determine how the next 20 years are going to go. So no pressure. So no pressure, right? So that's the thing about this. It's like we're looking forward to the graduation, if you will, but we still have to take the final exam. All right, we're looking forward to the graduation and what's happening after the graduation, but we still have to take the final exam with Pluto going back into Capricorn. So it's like I think what's happening here is that we're making all these plans and stuff like that, but the plans aren't falling quite into fruition just yet. They're not quite finalized just yet, and I think it's that's starting to that could be frustrating for people just in general for this whole Cancer transit. I have to talk about this because the sun is going to start at 0 degrees of Cancer, so I kind of have to talk about the purity of this energy. Right, we begin the day with pure Cancer energy with the sun shining its light on that, which is a very healing sign. It's a very healing modality. It's the first water sign. So it's Cancers play an incredibly important role on teaching people emotions, right? So now we do have the moon, of course, the ruler of Cancer in Leo. So we do have that mutual reception there. Now, of course, the moon moves fast. It starts the day at 18 degrees of Leo. Now, as you move this forward, you're going to have, of course, that moon is going to meet up with Mars at 19 degrees of Leo, making the trine over to Chiron. Now, this part is going to become really important later, and I'm going to talk about it because we're going to be talking about some minor asteroids in this video. And particularly, we're going to be talking about Pallas Athena and, of course, Black Moon Lilith, right? Because there's something really important. Now, we're going to get this sort of illumination early in the day, right? Now, when it comes to this Mars energy, which is wanting to move things forward and really act on our creative potential, we can only really act on our creative potential if we embrace and accept who we are, flaws and all. That's the thing about this. Chiron is in the second decan of Aries. It is in the decan of the sun. So there's some nice energy when it comes to this, right? This is going to be a thing with the moon over Mars, right? The other thing, whenever the moon comes into Leo, is that a lot of times when the moon comes into Leo, a lot of subconscious things from our childhood can come up, right? So there is definitely going to be this element today where you may get some memories of the past, or just even not even it doesn't have to necessarily even be childhood. Sorry, I skipped over my words because my words were running together super fast. Mercury's moving at 2 degrees a day, so that's probably why. Whenever the moon goes into Leo, there's definitely this element that can kind of bring up this sort of remembrance of our childhood, or even the remembrance of a time when we were younger, right? So with this moon on Mars, making the trine over to Chiron, there is definitely this signal from the universe saying to move forward with your creative potential and act on it and act on your creative potential. Some of you guys may be reviving, some of you guys may be reviving aspects of your childhood, creative things that you have put down. Creative, and when I say creative things, I'm not talking about the one-off things. I'm talking about the things that you obsessed over when you were a child. and then somewhere along the way you stop because adulting happened, right? Some of you guys want to pick these things back up. Now, what's going to hold you back is potentially this Chiron energy. Maybe you felt like you weren't good enough. Maybe you felt like you just couldn't, like in my case, I just couldn't finish, right? I couldn't finish any of my writings. I had all these amazing, cool characters that I wanted to explore and share, but I just never was able to really finish a story. You know, that's because that shit's hard too. So some of you guys are going to be picking up things from your childhood that you obsessed over. And these things are going to be a bit hard, right? We got to still consider that this moon is going to be is still squaring this Taurus energy, and it will square Uranus. But with this trine to Chiron, it's giving us this great opportunity not only to heal this aspect of ourselves, maybe this repressed aspect of our inner child, if you will, but it's going to also give us the go ahead and the green light to go for it, regardless of the fears, regardless of how we feel like, maybe people may judge us and stuff like that for it, regardless of any failures, any past failures that we might have had, right? Regardless of any of that stuff. It's telling us it's telling us to go. But the only way that we're going to be able to get up and go is if we know who we are and we know ourselves. That's going to be super important, knowing ourselves, because guys, this is cardinal fire energy and this is fixed fire energy. This is the unmoving, unchanging aspect of you and directing it in a super powerful way. If you're constantly feeling like, if you're constantly like changing and moving all this sort of, if you're constantly like changing, if your identity is constantly changing, then you might struggle a little bit today. I'm just sorry to say it. So this is the non-changing, unmoving version. This is the solid version of you, solid fire version of you, right? And directing it in a super powerful way. Why do you think Leo rules children, right? It's because they come in and then they have that, just that deep, intense, fiery imagination, right? And it is super powerful. It can be a little unhinged, but it's like if you can direct that energy and focus it, it can be super freaking powerful, right? Aquarius is going to be, it's not Aquarius, Aries is going to be trying to focus that energy. What's interesting about the fire signs too is that it's the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius that is the focusing one, because Aries is just the spark. Leo is just like, it's like the power, it's the drive, it's the juice, it's the thing that's going to sustain it, the engine, if you will. And Saturn, the mutable fire sign, is the one that actually has the focus and directs it. So that's the interesting thing about this. That's why it's important to come back to this Jupiter energy. Jupiter is in Taurus. That's why things can feel a little flat, because even though we want to take this creative, fiery passion into the world, how do we direct this fire and passion and this energy and this love? We got to go to Jupiter, which is in Taurus, 7 degrees. So, yes, it's going to seem a little slow for some people. Now, yeah, it's still sextiling Saturn, which is nice and beautiful, though, right? So that's the thing about it too, is that like Saturn, which is in many ways the planet of adulting, and it is retrograde in Pisces, right? And Jupiter is altered in Pisces. We also got to remember that. So there's some nice energy as far as that goes. And Saturn knows how to deal with Taurus energy because it's an Earth sign, so it actually gets it. So this is a there's so much, like, I don't know how to put this like any clearer. There's so many signs from the universe that we are good and that we can make our life, we can really make this beautiful life happen. But it's not going to come without its challenges. Like, that's the thing about it. There's so many potential ways to just slightly veer off path. You know what I mean? And for us to get in our head that, everything is just totally off. It's like there's these small little intricacies, these small little details that a lot of people are obsessing over. And if not every single detail looks exactly the way that we want it to look, right? then we feel the need to blow up the whole thing. And that's not the case. We don't need to blow up the whole thing, right? But there's some beautiful reset, like beautiful energy here between Jupiter and Saturn, one of the benefics and one of the malefics, the two largest planets in the solar system. So we can direct that energy, but it's going to take time. And that's why a lot of us are mentally frustrated. Mercury is moving fast. It's moving 2 degrees a day. It's at 20 degrees. It's going to be in Cancer in no time, catching up to the sun. So our mind is going a mile a minute. Now it's entered into the decan of Uranus, which is going to add an electrical aspect to this energy, right? So some of you guys may start getting like epiphanies out of nowhere over the next few days. Light bulbs are going to be going off potentially. Or you're going to try and like get the light to come on, but the filament's broken and it's not coming on. And you're going to keep turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and trying to flick it and trying to get it to work. But you actually have to like replace the light bulb. Don't have any light bulbs? Guess what? You have to get up, go to the store, buy a light bulb, bring it back, and replace it. But some of y'all don't want to do that either. Because some of you guys are in like a situation where you're trying to turn on this light bulb, if you will, it's not working, and then you're perceiving all of these boogeyman and these ghouls because the room is dark. But all you have to do is go change the light bulb, and then once you change the light bulb, you will see that those ghouls were your friends, were your guides, encouraging you and telling you. Maybe it was like a surprise birthday or something. I don't know. But it's like they're like you're like these ghouls and these boogeymen that you have been like, I'm chanting a lot with this one. These ghouls and these boogeymen that you thought were there trying to scare you were actually your guides trying to encourage you to be like, yo, look at what you have right now. Taurus is what we have. Look at what you have, beloved. Now, as we continue to move this moon forward and it enters into that third decan of Leo, I want to bring your attention to this right here. Well, a couple things. All right, so we see that Pallas Athena is at 22 degrees and Black Moon Lilith is at 22 degrees. Pallas Athena is finally going to pass Black Moon Lilith. And then, of course, you're going to have the moon there as well. This is all going to be happening at 22 degrees. Now, this is the reason why I said that you really need to know yourself and then direct whatever creative passion or whatever is coming up that you really want to engage and really push forward. Via Jupiter sextiling Saturn, right? And also having the courage to move forward despite any fears. Now, Black Moon Lilith, in many ways, does represent our fears and also these deeper dark desires. Lilith is also a revealer of the deep dark secrets and truths that we don't necessarily want to come out into the world, right? But it also offers a freeing, if you will. It offers a sort of freeing of the bondage of having to hold up certain images, certain fears. So now we also have Pallas Athena, which is all about creative intelligence. Athena was one of my guides. Athena also was the guardian of Athens. So in many ways, it represents she represents war in many ways, but a sort of creative intelligence in war and how to move about. This is a game of chess, not checkers. Also, it's about in many ways kind of guarding like the home base and the home front, right? Now, here's the thing about this. Pallas moves beyond Black Moon, Black Moon Lilith. So when it comes to our creative intelligence, when it comes to maneuvering ourselves throughout this world strategically, it's moving past the fear, right? The fear was leading the charge. Now Pallas has moved in front of it. So that just means that you can, once you move past your fear, you can see what you are really truly capable of. And the moon's going to be on this spot. And guess what? It's at 22 degrees, double moon energy, but together 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 4 in numerology is Uranus energy. Uranus, 21 degrees of Taurus, and the decan of Saturn. A lot of things come back. A lot of things right now are coming back to the Taurus, Mercury energy, right? How we all have this sort of dream that we want to make happen, but there's also the potential to get kind of caught up in weird places and to go too far out there and to escape too much, but also wanting us to ground. This is like a huge like final exam when it comes to a lot of this energy, because the North Node is about to come into Aries, which means that even more than ever, we really need to know who we are, right? But with this 4 energy, right, which is talking about frequency, right, and the Uranian energy, there's definitely going to be this sort of element where we as a collective want to really move past our fear. We really want to kind of push the boundary and expand the potential, the heights that humans can reach, the things that we could potentially build, the connection and the love that we could share. But we have to do it through our creative intelligence. That's the thing about Palace too, is that she's not really super emotional. She got daddy issues. So if you got daddy issues, that may come up today. But here's the thing though, any fears that you have around daddy issues can be overcome. That's the cool thing about it, because Palace has moved beyond that spot. So if you got daddy issues, those things can actually be healed if you let them. If you let them. But if you don't let them, you're just going to be like stuck in the past though. Because Palace has moved beyond that stuff. Move beyond the fears of the heart. The fear of pursuing what's in the heart. Expressing what's in the heart. That's the thing about this. That's how we're going to be able to move throughout this new world right now. Because in many ways, what's happening is that the board is being cleared. And we're moving into new territory. The new territory just looks very, very, very similar to where we just came from. But it has to. It has to look like that. Because once we come back into it's like it looks very, very similar, but now that portion just represents a small spot on the much larger map that we are about to explore. So we have to we're sort of like we're going back into training mode, if you will, right? We're sort of going back into training mode, if you will, to explore a much larger map and area. This is why it's important, like anything that you've already been working on, any skills that you already have, that this is the time to double down on them, because you're going to take that to the next level. It's like you're going to unlock a whole new version of yourself. It's like instead of a Pokemon just growing to level 100 and stopping right there, you realize that you can grow further. That's what this whole energy is about. And of course, as we continue to move that moon forward, it's going to, by the end of, it's really more so going to the next day, where it's going to, of course, make the quincunx over to Neptune, and eventually the quincunx over to Pluto as well. It does, of course, square Uranus, pretty much with Pallas and Black Moon Lilith. In fact, I kind of want to go back just to see when the moon actually hits 21 degrees. If by that point, Pallas is still behind. It's like right there, pretty much. It's like once the moon hits 21 degrees, they're like right on top of each other, essentially. So in many ways, there's sort of like this aspect that's kind of almost like, since it's in, and it's also in the third decan, which is Mars energy, of course it would be. There's definitely this element where there's going to be some sort of battle today, and I'm hearing it's more of like an inner battle, but it's just an inner battle of overcoming our fears through the creative intelligence and through knowing who we are, and that whatever emotions that we have, we can direct them in a powerful way, in that we can, even though our thoughts are very speedy and fast right now, that, of course, Mercury is sextiling all this energy, so that it wants to work together. It's about taking the information that we receive today, and instead of like overhyping and overreacting to it, and then somehow manifesting some crazy ass situation, some crazy ass South Node situation with that shrine building up and stuff, that we instead direct it in a much more powerful, uh, controlled, constructive way. That, yeah, may seem a little like, yeah, may seem a little heavy at first with the physical earth energy, but truthfully, that's the way that you want to go. So many people are looking for like so much edge right now, and really, it's about kind of almost like getting back on like the farm kind of energy, you know? Like you look out and you just see cows grazing and stuff. It seems boring, but it's really tranquil. Not only that, it's peaceful and offers a lot of clarity compared to like the city, which is like just roaming and bustling with cars and all that sort of stuff, right? There's that sort of element too. It's a little more pastoral, right? Let's go ahead and hop into the cards for the day. Are you about to leave, babe? Let me know, and then I'll come give you a hug. You about to leave now? I'll be right back. Safe. They're almost done. You got 2 more days left. Drive safe. Let me know when you get there. We try to be safe. So have a great day. I shall. I shall. Yeah. All right. Let's see what the cards have to say for today, for June 2nd, 2023. Good. Look, guys, I'm not saying to not have fun with all this energy in Leo and this going into summer. I'm not saying to not have fun. I'm just saying to, like, you know, to not put yourself into some weird ass situations. I think also the definition of fun is changing for a lot of people, and they're just not. They're just like seriously like wanting. They're wanting it to look like the old way of fun, and they just won't admit that things have changed, and their spirit is leaning is like pulling them into another direction. That they're fighting that, which is causing pain and resistance. That's the thing. So. Like someone's definition of fun is changing. Someone that goes out to the club every freaking weekend. Now they don't want to go to the club every single weekend, but they continue to do it, and then they find themselves in weird ass situations, you know? And that's not to mean that you're not ever going to go to the club again. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that maybe you only go once a month or once every few months. Your definitions of fun are changing. You gotta be okay with that. All right. The cards that we have for the day is, yeah, I have the Empress card in reverse for the first card, followed by the Chariot in reverse, followed by the Three of Cups upright. That's so interesting too. It's so interesting. We got all that energy. I'm talking about going to the club and partying and having fun, and then we get these energies that come up. But you know what's interesting about this too? I think it's like one way we can have just the Three of Cups energy. I think this is like about choice. We can have just the Three of Cups energy, right? Partying, having fun, feeling like we're connecting with the right people. But then we're going to feel this sort of reverse energy where it's going to be like, oh snap, well, my value systems are a little off. You know, I don't really necessarily see the value in what I'm manifesting with that Empress card in reverse. And then the Chariot card can feel like we don't really have direction in our life. We don't really feel like we have the success. We feel like a failure. We feel like we haven't really arrived, you know. But at least we're having fun, right? Now, let's say it was the other way around. Oh, the Three of Cups in reverse. Well, you know, maybe you're not out partying. Maybe you feel like you're not connecting with the right people and stuff like that. But there's this element where you feel successful, like you're arriving at something, that you're directed, that you're powerful. that you have your head on your shoulders, that you know where you're going with that chariot card. And then the Empress is because like you feel good about yourself. You're feeling yourself, truly feeling yourself. You know your worth and you know your value. But maybe you just find yourself not in the partying mood. I think it's more of like it's kind of like a take your pick kind of energy. I'm gonna cut the deck and then kind of find out. I'm gonna draw one more card for this because I'm pretty interested in all this. Wow, we have the Four of Wands. We have the Four of Wands. So of course they're getting married, but marriage, the wedding day itself, is the initiation too, because that's not where the story ends. That's where the journey begins, right? So there's definitely an initiation quality to this. I think it's interesting too because we can still have this Three of Cups energy, but the fact that this underlying card that's kind of like cutting this energy is the fact that it's this sort of initiation with the Four of Wands. You know that the journey is actually beginning and stuff like that. And the thing about this Four of Wands too is that like shoot, when it comes to like these celebrations in our life, these milestones that we're reaching and stuff like that, that's going to propel us to the next step, right? It's like it took a lot of work and effort to get there, right? To put the venue together, to get everything going, to send out all the invitations to the right people. It's not like these things happen overnight, even something like that, too. So that's the thing about this. This is not the kind of celebrations that we're looking for. The kind of things that make us feel good that we're looking for are not just the simple like I'm gonna just go to the club and have some drinks and meet up with these people. No, this is something that you build, right? Something that you plan for. That's going to that the freaking happiness and everything that will bring, the joy, the bliss that will bring is going to be 10 times, 20, 30 times better than how you feel for just the quick little fix, right? Card flew out. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. We got the card of Earth. We got the card of Earth. Yeah, so yeah, you can see Earth. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal spiritual aspects of our nature, connecting to the mana of the Earth. There is magic, right? There is magic, right? You know, using spells and stuff. There is there's mana, if you will, right? So mana is just it's like the magic in many ways that you're sort of like born with, and then you have the ether, which is like the magic of the earth itself, and really connecting with that. It's two different levels of magic, right? It's two different levels of magic, or three different levels of magic. Excuse me. Um, Magic itself is powerful in its own right, but you really don't get to be like that high mage kind of energy if you don't first recognize that your inner magic that you bring with you, like that mana, and then if you don't realize the ether as well and connect to the earth in a super powerful way too, to really move mountains, really, to really shake things up and to walk on water and all that good stuff, right? Tapping into that energy too. It may seem a little slow, it may seem a little physical, it may seem a little dense, right? Some of you guys are like way, way out there, you know, super, super out there, and you know, just like super flowy and undefining and everything like that. Come back down to earth. This is a very grounding kind of energy. And I think that's frustrating a lot of people because they're wanting to escape all the time when really the universe is asking us to ground, 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 ground. Because we think that it's boring. We think that it's mundane. We think that it's something that's not going to give us the life that we want, when it's going to give us everything that we want and need, because the earth is going through changes as well. As above, so below, as within, so without. The earth is evolving as well, We're about to see this world change forever, even in the physical sense. So, yeah. That's going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Leave comments in the section below just to let me know what your thoughts on what you're experiencing and stuff like that. I also do readings, so if you would like to get a reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below to my website. I offer astrology, tarot, and oracle card readings. And yeah, that's going to do it for your Thursday. I hope you have a lovely Thursday. Take advantage of all of the beautiful blessings that are here and really appreciate them, and take that and propel yourself, and keep moving forward, stay focused, and smile often. My old saying and stuff like that. I still say that. So but yeah, y'all take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you on the next video. Sayonara.